The Fritz Pollard Alliance called for the NFL to investigate whether the Oakland Raiders violated the Rooney Rule when they hired Jon Gruden as head coach. Max, is this worthy of an investigation?
The answer is yes, it is. And I want to make this very clear. There is nuance in why. If it's unclear to someone sitting out there why there should be an investigation, hey, they knew who they wanted to hire. They cut a verbal deal. That can happen during the season, whatever. You think you have an understanding. They jumped through the hoops. They interviewed minority candidates, and then they went with the hire they wanted to make. They've satisfied the rule. No, they haven't. It's a little bit like, guys, when Black Lives Matter said, hey, and then some people say, well, all lives matter. What reasonable person could say all lives? What's wrong with all lives matter? Because the point is Black Lives Matter, parenthetically, too, right? And so when you say all lives matter, you're kind of missing the point, although on its face, of course, what you're saying is true. So it's analogous in that way to me, why people would not understand that there's a problem here. They knew who they wanted to hire. They had some kind of a talk and understanding. Then they interview minority candidates, and they still hire the guy they wanted to hire. The reason they haven't satisfied the rule is because a perfunctory, a superficial treatment, a superficial interview, an interview that doesn't really mean anything, that is just, hey, get this guy in front of the people who are doing the hiring. Isn't that part of the Rooney Rule? You know, you get some people outside the good old boys club in front of people, and maybe in the future sometime. Well, yeah, that's one of the purposes. But if those candidates don't actually have a chance at the job, it doesn't actually satisfy the rule. And I could understand why someone who's in the process would have a problem. If I were an owner of a team, I would feel like this is some bureaucratic BS. I understand, even if you're well-intentioned, even if you're a social justice warrior, I could understand why if you're in that situation, you would say, doing the hiring, you would say, come on, I know who I want. So the guy happens to be white. He's not African-American or otherwise not, Anglo, right? So, okay, big deal. I'm all for minority hiring and expanding the circle of influence and all those things. But in this case, the guy nope. That's the point of the rule. Because right now, one of the reasons you see so many white faces in coaching positions is because the pool of applicants that are considered legitimate is kind of closed. It's guys who already have experience. It's guys who've been through that process. And until you genuinely expand that with an open mind, you're not satisfying the rule. Mike Tomlin might not be coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the rule will not have its intended effect. So I understand why it feels like bureaucratic BS, because largely it is bureaucratic kind of BS if you're going through the process. But there is a good reason that it exists. And if the spirit of the rule is not adhered to, the rule will not have its intended effect. Therefore, I believe that there needs to be an investigation here.